10, even 20 years. With testosterone therapy from Limitless Male, you can turn back the aging clock and get your edge, energy, and confidence back. If you've lost your drive, sleep deprived, muscle loss, belly fat, irritable, you're not the guy you once were. Get your T levels checked at Limitless Male. More and more men are realizing hormone replacement can turn back the clock. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Husker fans know when you work together, great things happen. At Cornhusker Bank, they're more than your financial partner. With 5 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Omaha, they're your neighbors, your teammates, and your biggest fans. Whether you're saving for your first home, planning your future, or growing your business, they're right here in Nebraska to help you move forward together. Visit cornhusker.bank to learn more. Cornhusker Bank, member FDIC. Doing life together.
Deciding on a college with your high school senior can be a little overwhelming for parents. But applying for money to pay for it is simple. FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, is now easier than ever with fewer questions and faster fill-out times. If you have a high school senior, now is the time to apply for thousands of dollars for classes, books, and housing. Get started, Nebraska, at dothefafsa.org. Sponsored by Education Quest Foundation. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. It is Ticket Weeknights, leading things off, as always, on a Monday here at 6 p.m. with the Husker Football Hour. I am Austin Oerman. More importantly, on our Aloe Fiber VIP line, we have lead sports columnist of the Omaha World, Tom Shatel. Aloe Fiber is where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. You want to be a part of the show? Please partake by texting in 402-464-5685 or dropping a comment or a question on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter streams. Let's go to that Aloe Fiber VIP line. Bring him in, Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald. Tom, a happy Monday evening to you. How are you this evening, good sir?
Good, real good. What's going on tonight?
Oh, there's a coach that talked and had some things to say, positive and negative, and let's just jump right into that. Tom, you saw the game, Nebraska and Minnesota on Friday night. What'd you make of what Matt Rule said, his reaction to the game earlier this morning?
Well, a lot of it was, I would say most of it was not really a surprise or unexpected. He was going to come in and say they didn't play well. It was he owns it. He's mad. So on and so forth. It's the things you say after a bad loss, and you have to calm people down and take ownership. But we've certainly heard those from different coaches over the years, and maybe from some we didn't. But yeah, it started. Sometimes I think I want him to. I always appreciate a coach who talks and is going to be forthright. Sometimes, you think maybe he just should have said, "We didn't play well. We're going to fix it, and we're moving on." But he starts in on talking about how they felt entitled and they sort of didn't respect or take Minnesota seriously, and I guess we'll never know if that's true. So he said it, and he believes it. I mean, tomorrow we can ask some people about that, but it certainly felt Friday night like they weren't really into it. Maybe they were. Maybe they thought that they arrived. Certainly, looking at Minnesota, from my untrained eye, they looked like pretty better than average team. Nothing really to get excited about. So maybe they didn't. Maybe they thought that they were just going to show up and turn it on, and they were on a roll and so forth. So I don't know. But and then Coach Rule was saying that something about even the assistant coaches, weren't taking him seriously. That they didn't believe that. Why are you crowning them? Just like. I find that one a little hard to believe. Maybe it's true, but if there are assistant coaches on the staff that don't take Minnesota or other teams seriously, or every team seriously, that's a problem. The assistant coaches certainly have to. They're mature enough, that they should be taking everything seriously. So I found that a little odd, to be honest. But if that's the case, maybe you need to find some coaches who are going to take everything seriously. And I think these guys do. It's an older staff. I don't know what happened. It was a very sort of strange night. And the way it all unfolded, we thought we were out, and they pulled us back in. Like, we thought we were done with this kind of stuff. And for Nebraska fans, it was the trifecta of losses. You lose, and you get, you don't look good, and you get dominated, but then you get out physical and you get beat up. That's the trifecta of a bad loss for Nebraska fans.
And yeah, like you said, Nebraska played the hits or didn't play the hits in that 24-6 loss to Minnesota, where Nebraska was only down 1 at halftime. Tom, this kind of continues a trend of Nebraska not necessarily coming out energized or ready to play in the third quarter. Minnesota dominated that. It's hard to call it a rout when it ends up just an 18-point game, but that gap felt a lot bigger than 18 points. I mean, you see everything going wrong for Nebraska in some cases. Obviously, the offensive line protection. They hit a deep shot with the game still in the balance, down 2 possessions. Maybe Isaiah Hunter holds on to that deep shot. Nebraska's got a chance and got some life, but he didn't. And so they didn't. And that's something that I thought had changed for Nebraska, at least on the offensive end, is that, looking back to Michigan, and maybe I was too hasty to say this after the middle 35, 40 minutes against Michigan State, but I thought Dana Holgorsen had done enough as offensive coordinator and gotten his unit into a position where even if Nebraska, was going to end up punting on a possession, you'd cut down on the number of 3 and outs. You'd be able to kill a little bit of time, give yourself a little bit of breathing room. But like it did against Michigan State, the floor really dropped out from the bottom of the Nebraska offense yet again.
Yeah, when it was at halftime, I still felt good about it. I thought, well, it's 7-6. Nebraska hasn't played well. They basically gave up 1 play on offense or on to Minnesota's offense. They get things cleaned up at halftime, and maybe adjust the game plans a little bit with the coordinators. They'll be right. They'll be right in this thing, and they'll take the lead. They'll march down and they'll score. So I still felt like that was going to happen, and it never did, and it got worse. And I just felt like this. I don't know if it was a deer in the headlights deal, or they were just 2 road games in a row shouldn't be a problem. Even on a Friday night, it shouldn't be a problem. You should be able to show up and play hard and do well. I don't know why they got pushed around, but to me, it may have started in the very, very first series, Austin, when they, we had the Emmett Johnson homecoming. We made a big deal out of it all week. Dana Holgerson loves the guy, wants to help him, wants to use him. He's promising that we're going to run. We're going to do this. And the very first series, 3 straight passes. But when you got Emmett Johnson, the third, number 3 back in the Big Ten, and maybe at times the best. Then one of them, and a second down was a sack, and it just kept going and going. And the one time Emmett had his best run, I don't know if it was 12 yards, but he got going a little bit, and you think, all right, here we go. They get him in a rhythm. Finally, get this guy in a rhythm, and they went right back to the pass. And so it was just frustrating to watch that. You guys should know better. This is an older staff. This isn't, a bunch of guys that haven't coached, at this level before and don't know the Big Ten. These guys know what this is all about. And so that was frustrating to not see the run game and really establish that. And with every sack, first of all, at the end, get Ryla out of the game. You don't need, he's getting sacked at the end of the game. Just like, it's a wonder the guy is able to walk off the field half the time. And what are they, sorry, I'm at a loss for words, but it's the more they got sacked, the more you think, okay, just abandon this guy in the pocket. The guy's, he doesn't have time to find anybody that's open. You're not throwing the quick hitting passes from Maryland. You're not, how about a screen pass or something to offset that rush? Or just go to the run game and just try to get out of it, at that point. But to keep going back to it over and over. 9 sacks is an indictment of the play calling. At some point, you just stop it. Stop doing that. So, frustrating night for everybody. That's one loss, and maybe a loss. At the end of the year, they look back and go, boy, that really hurt. But right now, it's 5-2. I think they're going to play well. They're going to play a lot better than that going forward. And they're certainly going to give USC their best shot. I guarantee it. There's some games ahead, but that was a wild one.
It sure was. And there's so much to dive into from this game. Going back and forth with people on the radio all day. If we blame the coordinators here on the air, it was, well, the players are the ones that have to make the plays. And if we blame the players, it's, well, the coordinators didn't put them in position to succeed. And that's why I do appreciate Matt Rule's tack and his tone when he said it's on everyone. No one did their job well enough. And I think that's legitimately the right answer. But let's start with the coaching aspect, and then we'll move into the players. For as many arrows as Matt Rule took today, Tom, he fired some of his own, right? I think the comment that he made about at some point we have to figure out as a staff what we can do, not, does this play work against this coverage or should it work? Nebraska needs to figure out what we can do. that was pointed, I thought, very squarely at offensive coordinator Dana Holgorsen. And then the defensive side of the ball and its leader, and John Butler certainly wasn't safe from the criticism either. When Matt Rule said, I thought we ran out there a too vanilla game plan and we let Minnesota get into a rhythm on the heels of, 5 days prior on Tuesday. John Butler said he thought against Maryland, his defense played better with an effort mentality. It was mind-boggling to see Nebraska play the way it did based on what the coordinator said and what their head coach wants. Is there any sense in your mind that Nebraska's head coach and coordinators have some wires crossed that they have to figure out, or is this just a one-night kind of bump in the road?
Yeah, maybe they do. Keep in mind this is the first year of Rule and Holgorsen together, and he's basically said, this is Dana's offense. I don't get involved. Well, maybe the head coach during the game should get involved and say, hey, why aren't we running the ball more? Or why don't we do this? I think that's probably a thing that probably needs to change. I mean, at this point, you shouldn't need to sit down as a staff and figure out what you do well. I mean, it's almost, there's 5 games left. I mean, we're clearly in the second half of the season. I mean, this is stuff you do the first month. Shouldn't be something you're doing now. So I don't know about that. And the defense, I don't know that the game plan was at fault as much as the way they played. They just, I don't necessarily wasn't doing anything fancy. I mean, they aren't a great offense. My goodness, and I can see why you might play them vanilla. They just lined up and kicked their butt a little bit, and so I don't know if that's a game plan or if you need to start throwing everything at them. I guess if you have to throw everything at that offense, maybe you are getting your butt kicked. I mean, maybe you should be able to get them straight up. I think Nebraska in year 3 should be able to handle Minnesota's offense straight up. So I don't know, and again, I'm certainly no defensive genius, but I'm just looking at it like, that Minnesota had a couple scoring drives where Nebraska penalties helped them on 3rd down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were going to punt or they have to go for a 4th and 4 or something, but there was one holding call on the secondary, then there was something else another time on 3rd down that the play was incomplete. They were going to 4th down, but there was a flag that got it a 1st down. So, and then they went on to score. So it's not like Minnesota was this offensive scoring machine. I look at them like they're a good, solid team. And Nebraska should have been able to score with them by all accounts. They should have been able to go out there and do that. But they didn't have the balance. I mean, again, if this means, Matt Rule needs to be more involved in the offense, I don't think he wants to be necessarily, but you got to make sure, I mean, if you have to tell the offensive coordinator, this is what we're going to do, then go do it. But, it'll be interesting to hear Coach Holgorsen tomorrow. He's always pretty honest and open as well. So, do I think there's a big problem? I think maybe I don't think this, I think the running game probably was the big thing with scheme last week. But I think it was just a lot of they just weren't physical enough. And maybe the offensive selection was part of that. And I just wonder, this isn't the first time Holgorsen has not run the ball with Emmett. I just wonder if he doesn't think he can. Now, he made a comment a few weeks ago where he said, I'm not going to call plays that aren't going to work. Well, right. I understand that. But the passing plays aren't working either last week. So I just wonder if he doesn't trust the run blocking right now. And so, but boy, I don't trust the pass blocking either. Do you? So,
I mean, when you're allowing a nation leading 25 sacks, you're tied with Utah State. pretty hard to trust it. But, that goes back to, I think, Dana Holgerson's background and that he's always relied more on the passing game. And I wanted to believe him when he said he wouldn't abandon the run. But it was like 38 called pass plays to 16 called run plays out of a game you get just 54 snaps out of. That's not a lot. It's not a lot of time to find yourself in rhythm. And that goes, I think, again, to where everyone is culpable, Tom, where the play calling has to come into question, that the player's not making plays on both offense and defense, right? I got tired the last couple of years of the narratives of, the defense is on the field too much. They have to play too many plays. I get it. The offense wasn't doing them many favors. But at some point, we talk about it on this show frequently. If you're a dude, a capital D dude, and you have a defense of them, you make plays to get off the field. Nebraska had opportunities to get off the field to save some miles on the defense's legs, to save some more snaps for the offense, to try to get some more players the ball. And that's where I'm going to be really curious to see throughout the course of the next 5 games for Nebraska. Can they make this Minnesota game the outlier, which I still think it is right now? Michigan might be in that same conversation, but it might not. But I think really it's some big picture questioning going on from my end too, because sure, you get bad games. They happen. Bad time to have a bad game. Can you own it and move on? So what? If you beat Northwestern, you get bowl eligible and you look fine the rest of the year, so be it. You don't really get a pass for it. You got to improve it for next time. But hey, at the end of the day, you're back in a bowl game. The flip side of that is if Nebraska is able to stand up to what Minnesota wanted to do physically and didn't because they weren't mentally able to do it, or if Nebraska was physically unable to stand up to what Minnesota was doing, both of those things are concerning. And I guess I'm just still waiting for Nebraska in year 3 under Matt Rule to have that dude on either side of the ball, and preferably multiple of them, who, even if the play call's not right, even if a team's playing a style that Nebraska might not be comfortable with, says, you know what, darn it, I'm a good football player. I'm going to do what my coach asks me to do, and then I'm going to go make a play, because that's playing the game of football. I didn't see enough edge from Nebraska in trying to fight back and stand up against what Minnesota tried to do. I'm with Matt Rule. I think they played hard, but that's small, if any, solace right now. Nebraska needs its players to step up and make plays almost regardless of what the coach is calling through the headset.
Well, yeah, those are all good thoughts. To me, there's a couple of marks of a good football program, and that's the mentality is you're going to do what you're going to show up every week, and you're going to play the way the game should be played, no matter who the opponent is. I also think the best teams are player led. We don't need at this point the head coach to be the cheerleader or the motivator, and we don't even need the assistant coach. It should be at this point, players have to take over this thing. And, that's what we're going to find out now. And I think this game can be a wake up call, and okay, you have 5 games left, and this is what happens. This is what can happen. And, when you don't do what you're supposed to, and you don't take it serious enough. So I think that the names coming up, currently Northwestern is like a Minnesota, and I think they'll definitely respond. How you respond to adversity says everything about the program, your identity, and I think they will respond. If they don't, they'll get beat at home. But I think they will. And then you've got USC. I think they'll give USC their best shot. The A game, whatever. I don't know if that'll work or be enough, but I think going forward, you're going to see the A game. And then they're going to have it. I don't know. Like 5 games left. Can they thinking about? Can they get 8 wins? Well, that would be winning 3 of the last 5. You think that can happen? I mean, it's going to be interesting. So they have to win 3 more to get to 8. And I think 8 is kind of that sort of acceptable number for a lot of people this year. I don't think 7 is going to feel nearly as acceptable. But the thing to remember, Austin, is last week people were really excited and proud, and these guys are fighters. They, fourth quarter, the karma, the fourth quarter team, they've got this thing figured out. They're closing games, and it's important to, I guess, note Michigan State. They were down 7, and Michigan State's not very good. And Michigan State had them down 7 at home, going into the fourth quarter almost. Maryland had them down 10, 7, 10 in the second half there, and Maryland can be good, but this is a Nebraska team that has put itself in a hole, and a couple of times they were able to climb out in the fourth quarter with a lot of playmaking. I just wonder if they thought, well, that's what we'll do against Minnesota.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I think that is going to be one of the big questions, because right now it looks like Nebraska learned the wrong lessons from the previous 2 games. It looked like, again, without being in the locker room, without having the vibe, but you heard Matt Rule say the word entitled a couple times. There's an entitled attitude, thinking that they were going to walk into Minneapolis and face an easy game. I mean, Matt Rule's on record as saying he expects every game to be 17-16 in the Big Ten. Don't know if that's true, but based off of some of his comments, I'll at least give him the benefit of the doubt. But that's where I think you're exactly right, is that as of right now, it looks like Nebraska's players took the wrong lessons from the wins, and that's a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, where does that entitlement come from? I don't, when my very good friend, Dr. Z, Rob Zadisker, had a great post on X earlier today that I just used in my column, where he said he was really pissed off about what Rule said about the entitlement, and not taking Minnesota seriously. And then he said, and then I realized maybe that was what was going on with us at Iowa State in 1992, and he sort of compared that young Nebraska team in 92 to, going to Iowa State and just not having it that day, and not, being able to, sometimes you just have one of those days. And that's true. In college football, you see it all over the place. People have those kind of days, so you got to respond to it. But I appreciate his comparison there. But like I said, that 92 team, well, it was young and had a freshman quarterback named Frazier. They were winning the Big 8 every year, and you go into the Orange Bowls, and they couldn't beat Miami or Florida State, but they were certainly. I mean, if anybody had a right to take the Big 8 teams lightly, it was them, and they never did. They never did. Very rarely. And this Nebraska bunch right now has no right to be entitled, and sometimes they are. It's a weird thing. I don't know where it comes from.
Jay Foreman has given his thoughts on Old School. I'm sure if you catch up with him at some point, he will be more than happy to tell you. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the show. Plenty more to dive into on that point and that magical I word of identity. That's all ahead on the Husker Football Hour with lead sports columnist for the Omaha World Herald, Tom Shatel, and myself, Austin Oerman, here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Nebraska farmers, harvest is here and every gallon counts. That's why Sapp Brothers Petroleum launched the Go Big Red Fuel Giveaway. When you contract your fuel with Sapp Brothers, enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits. As Husker Country knows, the only thing stronger than the roar at Memorial Stadium is the drive of a farmer putting food on the table. Fuel your farm with Sapp Brothers Petroleum and enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits. Visit sappbros.net today. Sapp Brothers Petroleum, fueling the heartland. Go Big Red.
If the power is out, traffic lights might be too. If you come across a dark intersection, treat it like a four-way stop. See more tips at les.com/safety.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
This fall, Baumgars has everything you need to get your farm ready for the season. Stock up on livestock feed, deer corn, and pine shavings to keep your animals fed and your farm running smoothly. Need tools for your fall projects? Grab DeWalt power tools and grass seed to keep your fields in top shape before winter. From your barn to your backyard, Baumgars has you covered. Get ready for the season with everything you need to finish those fall fix-ups. Baumgars, field, farm, and fall fix-ups.
Are you looking to upgrade your equipment and keep cash in your pocket? Through October at Landmark Implement, get up to a 24-month waiver on select John Deere tractors and combines, or lock in a 2.9% fixed rate for 36 months, followed by a qualified standard rate for another 36 months. Whether you're thinking of this year's harvest or planning ahead, we've got a solution that works for your bottom line. Visit your local Landmark Implement for more details, or check us out at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Schaefer's is celebrating its 79th anniversary with special rebates, financing, savings, and free delivery store-wide.
Update your home with innovative Samsung appliances and save up to an additional $900 with rebates. Samsung Innovation saves you energy and time with easy-to-connect appliance technology. Plus, during Schaefer's anniversary, get free delivery on your appliance purchase.
So hurry in during Schaefer's 79th anniversary event, going on now.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Fall is here, and so are cooler temps, darker evenings, and slick roads. Is your vehicle ready for the change in season? At A1 Automotive, we've got you covered. From tire checks, brake inspections, batteries, and heater systems, we make sure your car is road ready for the Nebraska winters ahead. Don't wait until the first frost. Schedule your fall car care checkup today and drive with confidence all season long. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right, rolling right along through the Husker Football Hour. I'm Austin Oerman, joined on our Aloe Fiber VIP line by Tom Shatel of the Omaha World Herald. Tom, let's get into that same conversation we were just having, and you said the magic I word, identity. The question that it boils down to, for me, just looking at this big picture, right? Minnesota's had a little bit of staff turnover. Head coach is the same, been there for 7-8 years now, knows what he's about. Nebraska, it's both an excuse and a reason to say that they're still searching for an identity. Has had that coordinator turnover. And yes, they are one of the youngest rosters in the Big Ten, which again, is an excuse. It can also be a reason. But when you look at Nebraska not being ready to play in a street fight on a Friday night on a short week, is that a sign to you that the program is now all of a sudden behind schedule? Or is it just a sign that Nebraska doesn't exactly know what its own identity is in a game like that? It doesn't know what it has to lean on yet.
Oh, no, I think it just has more to work on. There's more work to do. I mean, the last two games we were marveling at all the progress, and so this is one game, one bad game. These things happen. To me, identity. And I've changed my mind over the years on this as I've watched a lot of teams and seen the best teams, the teams that win and what they're made of. Certainly remembering what Nebraska used to be made of too. But the identity to me, some people think identity is whether you run the ball or you throw it. I don't think identity is scheme at all. I think identity, as I've said, I just said, to me, the identity of a program is the heart and soul. What are you made of? What do you believe in? What do you do every day? So, what are you doing every game? And that has to do with respecting the opponent every week. And when adversity hits, adversity is going to hit. You're going to get popped in the mouth. Things are going to go wrong. How do you react? Do you fight back? Do you not? Do you come back swinging and do you get the job done? And I also think identity is of a winning program is player leadership. It's led by players. It's the locker room is led by players. The things on the field are the leaders step up. The coaches don't have to make a lot of speeches. Like 2 weeks ago, Ja'Cory Barney stepped up in the locker room. The sophomore receiver was the one who stepped up, and then that's a welcome thing. You wonder if they'll have offensive linemen do that. I mean, if the big guy goes a year ago, it was Ty and Nash were the leaders. So but it'd be nice to have some linemen that could be those guys too, and maybe that's coming. We've got guys on the way up. Right now, the line seems to be kind of a jumbled thing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Austin? I don't think. To me, identity is
it's Sunday through Friday, right?
Huh?
Identity seems like it's a Sunday through Friday thing that gets revealed on Saturdays.
Right. It's what do you do during the week? Right. It's what are you every day? It's what does this program believe in? And Rule's been trying to do that. And the player leadership thing is just it takes a while to do that. And it takes the right players. It takes you got to bring those guys into the program. And it just sort of takes off on its own. But everything is you're surrounding the players. You're giving them everything they need to be leaders. So, but I remember this. I still remember 2014. I remember the game. Was Bo's last year. They were playing a MAC team, and they came into Lincoln and they almost won. And Amir Abdullah made some insane play at the end where he.
Oh yeah, that was McNeese State.
Was it?
Yeah, I was at that game sitting in Mark Manning seats.
I guess I thought it was a MAC team, but anyway, they're going to lose a non-conference game at home to somebody that they should be beating, and Abdullah made some insane play. He caught a pass and he ran through the traffic and scored, and they ended up winning. And I remember after the game, Abdullah at the press conference saying, we've got to learn to respect the game. He kept saying, respect the game, show up and respect your opponent every week. And I'll I'll never forget that. And I thought it was even back then we were talking about that. So, but I'm baffled by this, Austin. Minnesota loves to beat Nebraska. They get up for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they care? They do. Iowa loves to beat Nebraska. They talk about it. They pay attention to what Nebraska's doing, and those two get their best shot to Nebraska every single year, and they pound them all the time. You think they get bored? They never do. And Friday night the students storm the field. I mean, and Shannon, you're overrated. It's just like, I guess it was a compliment, but it's just like, come on, you guys do this all the time. You're that excited still? And so I can't understand why Nebraska doesn't return the favor. They never seem to get up for Minnesota. They never seem to get up for Iowa. They never seem to have the same fire. And it's kind of what you have to do all the time. And it's hard to do. It's really hard to be that consistent. You kind of have to have an older team, but it's got to be ingrained in the program, in their mentality. And I think that takes a while. We should have a really special team early. But, it'll be interesting to see what Indiana, they've got he's hit on some quarterbacks. He had these transfers come in, older teams. It'll be interesting to see what going forward, if they're kind of have the same mentality that he's got going now. But, this is taking a little bit longer. People get impatient. Patience is the word of the day in college football. This is buyout season. Now people are firing coaches down the middle of the season, and so I certainly don't. James Franklin, he had the 12 years there. So I wouldn't say that was necessarily being impatient. I think they were just tired of it. But it's just the way it is. But so I understand Nebraska fans, want something big. I think I don't think people expect 9 wins and playoff. I think the playoff talk was always out just crazy and out there. They expect is don't get embarrassed. Don't, at year 3, you shouldn't be getting embarrassed. You shouldn't be getting, pushed all over the field by a Minnesota team that knows how to do that. It really shouldn't have the players. Nebraska really shouldn't be getting pushed around by those guys. Not the whole game. So I think that's a game that could leave a mark on a lot of people. But there's plenty of games to overcome it and just getting back on track.
The team that also comes to mind for me when you talk about teams that like to beat Nebraska, I think about Creighton baseball. Seems to take that 3-game midweek set a lot more seriously than Nebraska baseball does. And, we've talked about that on this show and others. But, Tom, I do wonder if part of that is just some sort of, institutional memory from Nebraska of just not wanting to go full Bill McCartney, right? Never wear red. You don't want to get to Michigan, Ohio State level where you don't use the letter M, during Minnesota week or letter I during Iowa week. Does Nebraska find itself above such motivational tactics that we've come to love about college sports? I don't know. I think it's frivolous. But at some point, don't you have to do something a little different to catch people's attention and take it seriously to make sure that you take a game like that seriously, even if there should be no reason that you should have to?
Yeah, I think Minnesota and Iowa provide opportunities to have that edge, to get that edge, to get the chip on the shoulder. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's like, okay, what can you should be getting up. It's good to have games to get fired up about. And those are there all the time. I know they aren't going to play Minnesota every year, but they play them enough. And, for goodness, PJ Fleck's got enough things. He's got the pig trophy and he's got the Paul Bunyan axe. That axe thing looks scary when those guys are wheeling it around. And I mean, he's got Wisconsin and Iowa that he's got to obsess over. He has to win those games. They just take delight in, beating Nebraska. And I think Nebraska, early on, certainly had a lot of success against them. And he wasn't. I don't think he was there yet. I don't know what year he got there. He got there right about the time Scott Frost was, kind of looking down at Minnesota. So they really, I think have kind of looked at that game as, you guys think you're better than us, so we're going to prove that you're not. And so even as they keep proving it, they still say that. So, yeah, I agree with you totally. I think having a rivalry is good for a program. And I don't think Nebraska fans acknowledge the Iowa thing still. I don't, I feel like they don't really care. And, but it's good to care. Caring, I think, fuels your fire. And like I said, it gives you that edge. So I just find it interesting that those two teams love to keep beating Nebraska. Nebraska doesn't show the same passion.
And with you on that, let's go and take our final break of the show. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the Husker Football Hour next on 93.7 The Ticket.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th, when every red tag machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location.
Imagine hitting rewind on your life 10, even 20 years. With testosterone therapy from Limitless Male, you can turn back the aging clock and get your edge, energy, and confidence back. If you've lost your drive, sleep deprived, muscle loss, belly fat, irritable, you're not the guy you once were. Get your T levels checked at Limitless Male. More and more men are realizing hormone replacement can turn back the clock. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here we are, one final segment of the Husker Football Hour for the week. Austin Oerman here, Tom Shatel on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber. Elsewhere in Huskerville, Tom, Husker volleyball keeps rolling. Come out at the number 1 overall seed in the rankings that were recently released. If the tournament started today, Nebraska volleyball would be the number 1 overall seed. We've seen some good Husker volleyball teams before, Tom, but 9 sweeps already for the ladies. They appear to have not skipped a beat in the coaching transition from John Cook to Danny Busboom Kelly.
No, and that's a player. Well, I mean, certainly Coach Busboom is doing a fantastic job, but that's a player-led team, too. That is a team that's been to the last 2 Final Fours and has come up short. And there's a fire in that team, under that team. And I think it's that's what we're watching. We're watching something very special. Certainly, they've won the Big Ten, and last year they wasn't Wisconsin number 1 when they came into Lincoln, and it was an incredible 5-setter. I think they were number 1, but that was an amazing match. But they've raised the level even from that, and. Yeah, it's amazing to watch. Even though I know, yesterday I went to a bar in Omaha to find the game on the Big Ten Plus. Even though you know what's going to happen, you still can't wait to watch it. That's Nebraska volleyball right now. I can't get enough of watching this team. I can't wait to see what they're going to do next and how they're going to do it. And I mean, my goodness, we're not close to the postseason yet, but when we get there, it's going to be unbelievable. And it's so much fun, Austin, to watch these. When they go on the road, they're selling out other arenas. I mean, it's a special team, and all of women's athletics. It's a special thing we're watching here. They really are leaders. It's they don't necessarily have like a Caitlin Clark. They got a team full of Caitlin Clarks, and they're everywhere they go. They're rock stars. They're the show, but it's volleyball, and it's cool because the sport is really taken off, and they're at the forefront, and it's just got to get that. They've got to finish it this year. They know they do. They're at the point now where, it's a good season, but it's not a great season until they get that last one.
On that note, good start to the season for Nebraska men's basketball. Fred Hoiberg said to his team and then to the reporters post game that this can't be the high point of Nebraska's season. Yes, the normal exhibition caveats apply, but Tom, Nebraska men's basketball, they're interesting.
Yeah. We were trying to listen to it on the way down the drive back. It looks, the team, we really didn't know much about this team. I was hearing it from other fan bases and other coaches, who are these guys? And so, here's the thing. I love the fact that they're older. They got older guys. That is so important. I think Fred does well with older transfers. I don't know if it mattered that they won. I don't think BYU had their whole thing out there. But who cares? What mattered was how did they play, and do the pieces seem to go together right now? It's still October 20th. So they used to start practice on October 15th. I remember that very well. When Fred was a player at Iowa State, they didn't roll the basketballs out until the 15th. Now they're playing a game against a higher-ranked team. What I know is I love the exhibitions. I love them. I love against these good teams. I love these kind of games. Doesn't matter that they're not. The games are going to count soon enough. I just love the energy and the excitement of playing games like this. I think it gives the coaches, especially, a chance to early look at your team, early film, early things to look at and correct and teach. And my other takeaway is from Creighton beating Iowa State and Nebraska beating BYU is I can't wait until December 7th. That is going to be a fun game.
It sure ought to be. Nebraska and Creighton. I mean, of course, that was two pretty good exhibition opponents that the two bigger programs in Nebraska's basketball area brought in. I mean, Nebraska BYU versus a top 10 team. Creighton just barely on the outside looking into the rankings against a top 15, top 20 Iowa State team, and both Nebraska teams end up pulling out the victory. That's one, Tom. Nebraska Creighton men's basketball, unlike what I said with Nebraska and Creighton baseball, I do think both programs understand how important it is to their respective fan bases to take that game seriously and put their best foot forward.
Yes, they both care very much about that game. The fans care very much about that game. The last 3 years, the visitors have won. We'll see if Nebraska can hold court this time or not. Creighton's going to be coming in. They're not big, but they're fast and they shoot well. It's going to be fun. A lot of action in that game, a lot of shots. Can we ask very nicely now to have the red and the blue jerseys for that game every year? Can we please?
Annually, please.
Yes. So I'm not sure who's in charge of that. I think Creighton didn't do last year. Well, we need to work on that a little bit. This year Creighton will wear blue automatically, so we need to get red on Nebraska going. It's not one of those. It isn't watching the stupid Chargers yesterday and the bananas, the Savannah banana uniforms. I mean, holy crap, that was ugly.
Emphasis on crap more than holy.
Red, yes, red and blue looks very good on the basketball court, and it goes well. You can tell there's no confusion who's on what team. So, we're going to keep working on that. Sometimes these coaches get stubborn. We have to pound on them a little bit.
Well, you know what? We, at the least, very, very least, you and I can do our part because we're on board. I know plenty of other of our cohorts in the media ranks would be on board with that as well. Tom, as always, appreciate your hour. We will see you tomorrow for coordinators pressers Thursday and then early kickoff against Northwestern on Saturday. Thanks as always, Tom.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
That's Tom Shatel, lead sports columnist of the Omaha World Herald, joining the show via the Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fiber, the official internet provider of the Huskers and sponsor of our VIP line. Allo is where they understand both the importance of exceptional service and local heart. For Tom, I'm Austin. That puts a great foot forward starting off Ticket Weeknights here on a Monday. Stay tuned. Plenty more coming your way throughout the course of the evening, only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nebraska farmers, harvest is here and every gallon counts. That's why Sapp Brothers Petroleum launched the Go Big Red Fuel Giveaway. When you contract your fuel with Sapp Brothers, enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits. As Husker country knows, the only thing stronger than the roar at Memorial Stadium is the drive of a farmer putting food on the table. Fuel your farm with Sapp Brothers Petroleum and enter to win $1,000 in fuel credits. Visit sapbros.net today. Sapp Brothers Petroleum, fueling the heartland. Go Big Red.
If the power is out,